Beef back ribs are one of my favorite things to make on the grill. They're like brisket on a stick and absolutely delicious. And yeah, we could just throw some salt and pepper on them, put them out on the grill, and they'd be good. But we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to make a really good rub to go with them, and we're actually going to make a glaze. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't put glaze on beef ribs or sauce on beef ribs, but a lot of people do. I don't always, but sometimes I want something a little different, and this one's going to be kind of great. And if you know me, I'm getting all the preliminaries done today, the rub, the sauce, everything, so that tomorrow I can just head out to the grill and get these beef ribs on. So let's get our rub ready first. I'm just using one of my little deli containers here. It makes it really easy. Once the ingredients are in, you put the lid on, shake it up. We're going to start with 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 4 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon of granulated garlic, a half a teaspoon of turmeric, a half a teaspoon of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of cane sugar. Cane sugar is a little bit of a less processed sugar. It's just got a slightly less white color to it. So if you look at it, it's hard to see sometimes on camera, but it's got a little bit of more of a tawny color to it. Final ingredient, half a tablespoon of cocoa powder. Now this is an unsweetened cocoa powder that you commonly use for baking. This adds some real nice body to this rub. Get our lid on and shake. This already smells amazing. All right, let's get our glaze ready. Our glaze is super simple. We're starting with 3/4 cup of honey. Just pick your favorite honey. And to this, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of gochujang. And we'll estimate our gochujang here. And we're just going to take a whisk and slowly work this together. It's going to take a minute. You got a very thick ingredient in that honey and a little bit thick ingredient in the gochujang. Just take your time, and then as it starts to come together, you can speed up. Oh, this smells amazing too. That is looking good. All right, I'm going to get a lid on this. It's going to go in the refrigerator, and we're going to get our beef ribs out here and get them seasoned up. So what I have here are some absolutely monster beef back ribs. When I saw these at my local Costco, which is where I buy a lot of my meat, I had to do a double take on the package. These are some of the beefiest beef back ribs I have ever seen. They're USDA choice, and I can tell you these are going to turn out fantastic. Now there is a little bit of dryness here, so what I'm going to do is add a binder, which is just a balsamic glaze. I get this at Trader Joe's. It's a really nice flavor, and I've used it several times on beef. Just amazing. Just a little bit on here. And we'll just work it around, get some coverage on our ribs. Just a little extra help for that rub to stick here, since we don't have a lot of surface moisture. If you watch my videos enough, you know I rarely use binders, but when it's necessary, I don't have a problem doing it. If you use a binder all the time, nothing wrong with that. It's really just a personal choice. Get our seasoning on here, our nice rub we made. I already have my ribs up on a rack in this pan here, so they'll just kind of stay out of any juices that sweat out onto them. I'm not going to bother seasoning the backs. That's just the bone side. Definitely want to get the sides here. I mean, just look at the size of this back rib. I just don't usually see them like this. These look more like, the beef plate ribs, dino ribs, whatever you want to call them. A little bit more on our top sides here. All right, I'm happy with that. These are going to go in the refrigerator overnight, uncovered just like this. And tomorrow, I'll see you out at the grill. All right, the Weber kettle is up to temp. My target today is 250 degrees, and we're going to be putting some white oak on in just a little bit after we get our ribs on. So let's go ahead and start smoking. I'm using the Mallory firewall today to create 2 zones and the Mallory cast iron grate. Get our piece of white oak on here. All right, we're going to get the lid on, get smoking. We'll come back in about an hour, see if we need to spritz. Fair chance we might need to. It's fairly dry today, so we'll see how it's going. See you back here in about an hour. All right, we are at the 1 hour mark. The temp's been holding really steady right around that 250. Let's go ahead and check our beef ribs, see if we need to spritz. Well, I gotta say, so far that color is looking great. From the looks of it though, I do see some dryness, so we are gonna go ahead and spritz, and I'm just using plain water. I always say that beef back ribs don't win beauty contests because as they cook, you get pullback from the meat and the bone there, but these have so much meat, I don't know that they're going to get that sort of unattractive quality to them. They're just looking really good so far. So let's go ahead and get the lid back on, keep smoking, and we'll come back in about another hour. All right, we are 2 hours into this cook. I mean, that temp is really holding nice and steady at 250. I really do find that the Mallory firewall helps with keeping temps even because it's really just a big heat sink. It is thick steel, and so that just holds the heat and kind of just regulates it a little bit. I've really enjoyed using it. Well, let's go ahead and check these ribs and see if maybe we're close to the time to wrap them because I'm going to go by color and texture, and if it's looking good, we'll wrap them. Oh yeah, wow, those look great color and texture wise. Yeah, I'm totally happy with the way these are looking color and texture wise, so we're going to go ahead and wrap these in a double layer of foil. And that's really going to help us tenderize these before we take them out of the foil in a couple hours, get them back on the grate, and then brush them with that glaze that we made. I'm going to get a little bit of water on the foil just from our spritzing spray bottle. For one that doesn't want to stand up, we'll help them along. Back on the grill. All right, we're going to let these keep cooking. We're going to come back in 2 hours, get them out of the foil, get them back on the grill, and glaze them. So I'll see you back here in a couple hours. All right, we are at the 4 hour mark. Let's open up the foil and do a quick probe. I'm pretty sure they're going to be about the tenderness I want at this point. It's usually about the 4 to 4.5 hour mark when I'm doing beef back ribs like this. So let's take a look. You can see that pullback on the bones there. Let's just see how we're feeling. Yeah, that meat is feeling tender. All right, I'm gonna lift the foil off here and we'll get the ribs back on and glazed. Getting fall apart tender, some of them. We have our gochujang honey glaze here we're going to get on. We're not going to overdo it with the glaze, but I do want this on here for some extra flavor. You can see how thick it is. We lost a piece of meat there. Might have to taste that in a minute. Really just sort of dabbing this on here. Let's see how that piece that fell off tastes. All right, we're going to get the lid on and let this go another 20 minutes. That's all it's going to take. They are done. They are tender. We're just going to give that little bit of glaze on there. Time to set. See you back here in 20 minutes. All right, we've been going 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and look at our beef back ribs and get them off here. We'll get them inside and they're going to rest for about 20 minutes. I'm just going to put them in a pan, cover it with foil and let them rest for about 20 minutes. Then we'll have a taste. But let's take a look. Oh yes, look at that. I wish you could smell what I'm smelling now. This is amazing. I'll see you inside in about 20 minutes when we're having a taste. Well, here they are, our beef back ribs. And I want to point something out to you, especially on this one here on the end. I hope you can see that, how that bone is showing through the meat. It's pulled back. That's more of the way I'm used to seeing beef back ribs after you smoke them. That meat just pulls away. You don't usually get this much meat remaining. A lot of it pulls back, but hey, I'm not complaining. So for tasting here, I am just going to show you how tender these are. Let me slide a couple to the side, and I am just going to pull this meat apart. It is so tender. That's one of the reasons I love beef back ribs, because when you get them to this state of tenderness, this meat is beefy. I've said it many times in videos when I've used beef back ribs. The flavor you get on this rib meat is some of the beefiest you can get in barbecue. Let's see how it tastes. It is great rub flavor, great smoke flavor, and great glaze flavor, but all of that wouldn't mean a thing without the beef flavor. This is just amazing on these beef back ribs.